On this episode of Eat Sleep Drive, we have beautiful Kentucky scenery, a reliable Land Cruiser, and a broken Subaru. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Eat Sleep Drive, and we are going to be going on a trail ride in this episode. But before we do that, there are a couple things that need to be addressed. Well, really there's a lot of things that need to be addressed, but I'm only going to do one of them today before we go on this trail ride. If you remember my previous video, I bought this thing, took it to Colorado, and when I got to a fairly decently serious trail in Colorado, I was bouncing my running boards off of rocks in this creek. So that is really the first mod that I'm going to do is remove these running boards. Ideally, before this trail ride, I would have got new tires, but I unfortunately just haven't had time, so I'm going to roll with the ones that I have on it, or that were on it when I bought it. It was fine in Colorado because it's pretty dry in Colorado, but we're going to Kentucky where it is known to be very wet and muddy, so I'm not sure how they're going to do. But anyway, let's take off these running boards so I can not bounce them off of rocks when we go on the trail ride. Removing running boards isn't rocket science. There's a handful of fasteners on each side that you just have to remove. The only annoying part is there are body mounts that are very close to some of the bolts, which make it a pain to get to some of them. Did we get all the... Yep, there it is. Running board. With the running boards off, it looks way higher. Obviously, haven't changed the ride height, but one less thing to bounce off of. Let's go wheeling. We left bright and early for the trail ride this weekend, which was in Kentucky's Red River Gorge and was a fundraiser for Shelby's Way, a really awesome nonprofit bringing awareness to suicide prevention. If you've watched some of my older videos, you'll recognize several faces in this video. The whole crew I attended the Gambler 500 with was coming along for the ride, and of course, we had to bring the Withoutback. If this is the first you've seen of this car, you're missing out. Go check out some of my older videos on the Gambler for how this fine piece of engineering came about. We had a good turnout for this event. There were roughly 60 trucks lined up ready to go when we got there, split up into multiple groups depending on the capability of the rig. Let's see if she starts. Oh, she'll start.
Just a light knock. Sure she'll clear right up. Oh, good thing we still got them fruit snacks.
Yeah, I know. You got oil, right? Yeah. There's oil in it.
She hitting.
Hitting good. Yeah. Fucker's man. We'll see how many she is at the end of this.
Probably my favorite thing on the car.
Absolutely.
Rust.
Oh yeah, there's no way.
Oh, from all the oil, yeah.
Drop that motherfucker in the Baltic Sea, and it would fucking be.
Oh, I think that's why the exhaust is leaking, because I smashed the manifold onto the skid plate.
That'll do it.
There's your problem.
We got good rear visibility there, Nick.
I see you.
The check engine light's flashing now. That's always a good sign.
What kind of oil does that smell like? That doesn't smell like engine oil.
No, it's
That smells like
Is it that
trans
trans
fluid.
line
I think that's trans fluid.
I don't know what it is. That noise, I don't know where that noise is coming from.
Trans fluid isn't isn't
Remember
flammable at all.
It was leaking from right there.
Oh yeah, maybe that's what it was. I don't know.
I won't look, just make sure. See.
It's not anymore, I don't think.
Alright, well fucking send
Are
it.
you gonna do anything? Freaking quick profusely.
Do you check the engine?
It's there.
Okay.
I checked it, it said it's still there.
Look at
We weren't on the trails very long before we stopped for the first attraction, Moonshine Cave. After the cave, we hit some light trails. I'm always amazed at how well our little half a Subaru does off-road. It's like a little mountain goat. You expect a Land Cruiser to have no problem on these trails, but I wouldn't assume the same for this little Subaru.
Yeah, it's not even on anymore. It's not even on anymore.
What's not on?
Tire.
Tire? That's good.
You don't need that. By now, it was already lunchtime, so we stopped for some food before we hit the trails again. Outside of waiting around for some two-wheel drives to get through some obstacles, things were going well. Maybe too well. And then we came across a fairly deep water crossing. If you're not familiar with our Withoutback, this car and water have quite a history. The original motor was hydrolocked going through a water crossing during our first Detroit Gambler 500. Needless to say, when we came across this water crossing, it brought back some memories. But surely, lightning never strikes the same place twice, right?
Off the bottom of the gorge for a sec. See no water in here. The key is to create a bow wave, you see. You gotta push it. You gotta push it real good like salt and pepper.
The car got through the water just fine and we claimed victory. And wouldn't you know it, right after that, it suddenly died.
God dang it. We're doing good. Hey, what's going on back there, guys?
Ruh-roh.
That's what happens.
Ruh-roh. On this episode of Eat Sleep Drive, we have beautiful Kentucky scenery, a reliable Land Cruiser, and a broken Subaru.
She just wet?
It doesn't really feel that wet. I mean, I guess it is. I mean, this is all wet, which leads me to believe that,
We just get a screwdriver and take that off.
You think that's the problem?
I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, it was running, so it wasn't hydrolocked.
Right. Might have just got wet. Math might have just got wet, you know?
You ground the boobaroo?
A little deep for the old girl.
I'm afraid she. I just unplugged the math plug back in. Math might have been wet. Let's just see if she starts.
She does.
Yeah.
He did that.
Oh, try it. Yeah. Let's try that. Good. Good. Try starting her.
Hit her, hit her, hit her.
Go ahead and try starting her now.
Nothing.
It seemed fine. Cool, it wasn't.
What was he supposed to do? Not go through it?
Yeah, intake.
I mean, the intake's dry actually.
You should have propped the hood like this and then turned that 90 degree.
Completely dry?
I mean, it's not that dry, but it's not wet. Like,
Oh, yeah, it definitely had nothing to do with water in the intake. Huh? You gotta check fuses, make sure it didn't pop something.
Did not.
Which one's EFI?
This car and water, man. I'll tell you what.
How does this keep happening?
it's always water.
Every time.
2 for 3.
2 for 3 is right.
We've made 1.
2 for 3. Oh, this.
That's how this goes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, hit. Let it hit.
Just do it. Crank it, see what happens.
This is that carb edition.
Big nose spark.
Well, about to find out.
Usually what it is.
We spent a solid hour troubleshooting various things. Last time we sucked in so much water that the engine wouldn't even turn over. That wasn't the case this time. This time it just wouldn't fire. We checked for spark, which we had. We checked for fuel, which we had. But in the end, she just wouldn't fire. We eventually admitted defeat and had to flat tow the old girl out. I'm not sure on the legalities of flat towing, so we'll go ahead and say that these images were computer generated. This was pretty sketchy given the constant elevation change in this area. Nick in the Withoutback did his best to drag the brakes when appropriate, but making sure to not drag them too much so that the old Jeep couldn't handle it. We had a scary moment when some slack got in the line and was subsequently taken back up quickly, but other than that, we made it back in one piece, which is about all we could ask for.
I thought that was gonna be way worse.
That sounds more terminal than it did before.
Does it?
Shut your whore mouth.
It didn't sound good, dude. So we should just freaking push it on the trailer right now, right? That's what we're doing. We're just pushing it right on the trailer right now.
Oh yeah.
That was super sketchy.
That had to be so sketchy, dude.
The end was super sketchy.
I'm sure.
We got up to like 50
That was
almost.
one of the more sketchy things I've ever done. That was as equally as sketchy as going 100 miles an hour in the gravel.
It's not the video. It's not the video.
Brakes. Woo! Perfect.
It's like you almost parked this thing with plans that it wasn't that we would have to push it.
That might have been strategic.
Well guys, there you go. That's it for this episode of Eat Sleep Drive. Pretty sketchy ride back with the Withoutback, flat towing it about 20 miles. We were going to just pull over to the closest road to come get the truck and stuff, but it went well enough that we could get it back here, and it's on the trailer over there if you can see that. So I don't know, I have a bad feeling about this one. This might be the end of the Withoutback. Basically what happens is you try and start it, it tries to turn over maybe like the first rotation and then just dies. So not really sure what's going on after that water crossing clearly fucked something up. Must have been electrical or something. Might be the end, I don't know, we'll see. Land Cruiser did great, obviously pretty easy trails this time, but was nice to hit the trails back home in the Midwest on some muddy Kentucky trails. Stay tuned for future episodes of this thing. I'm gonna be doing some mods to it, so appreciate you guys watching as always. You can follow me on Instagram in between episodes if you wanna see what's going on at Eat Sleep Drive TV. Otherwise, appreciate you guys watching. See you next time.